Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first bullet journal flip through of 2020. I just finished this notebook. I used it from January 2020 to June 2020 and I'm finally done with it. And now I'm doing a flip through so you can see all the pages that I did and the setups and what I felt, and kind of doing a review of all the spreads that I did. If you haven't watched my new bullet journal setup that I just started now in July, I'm going to link it in the description and here in the cards for you to check it out. I'm also going to link down below all the setups that I did in this bullet journal and all the pages and videos that I have in this bullet journal. I'm going to be linking them down below. And I'm also going to link the review because I have a review of this notebook on my channel. So if you don't know this notebook and you'd like to get to know him and know all his features, I'm going to link the review down below. Also, because I used this notebook for 6 months and it was gifted to me by Notebook Therapy, I'm going to post next week a full review, after using review of this notebook, so you can see my opinion and if I would purchase it again and how I felt using it, because it has different characteristics to it. And so I'm going to do full video about it with a whole lot of information about the notebook. So stay tuned for next week's video where I'm going to mention everything that I felt in this notebook and how it is after 6 months of using it. So with that all being said, I'm going to start the flip through of this bullet journal. I used it for 6 months, so it's going to probably be quick because I only have 6 months to show you guys, but yeah. So on the first page you always have a space for your name. I just wrote cat when I made my review. And then I have my key and color code. I actually have a blog post on Notebook Therapy's website that I'm going to link down below if you are a beginner to bullet journal and don't know how to use a key and color code or how to do yours and everything about it. I'm going to link the blog post that I did with Notebook Therapy down below so you can check it out and learn a little bit about this page. Then I have my future log. Because this notebook is a little bit smaller, I only did 4 months in each page and I did 3 pages for my future log. I always plan my future log in a yearly spread, so I never know how many months I'm going to be able to fit in a notebook, so I prefer to do a full year as my future log in all of the collections instead of just doing 6 months and then I do more months than that in my bullet journal and I don't have a future log. So I always do a yearly future log and my collections are always yearly based basically. So then I have my goals, ideas, books, and bucket list. This page, I kind of felt like it needed something else. It was really minimal. I just had like the titles and a couple of washi tape and I didn't have anything. I didn't have sections with lines, and so it was just like very simple. So I ended up not using these pages a lot because they were not interesting to use. So I only keep here a couple of goals and my milestones for Instagram and YouTube, a couple of ideas, but they were really random because they were not divided between like personal and YouTube, so they were just like here. And I have my books to read, and of course I was not going to read all of these books, but I wrote them in here and it was just not really organized in my bucket list as well. I like to have minimal pages, but this was maybe too minimal for me, so I ended up not using it a lot. And then I have my accomplishments page. This is a page that I highly recommend you have in your bullet journal. In this page I wrote every month that I used this bullet journal, and I wrote everything that I would like to remember. So the first month where I had a PO box, when I received my first pen pals, when I celebrated 5 years of dating with my boyfriend, when I received my notebook from Notebook Therapy and my new glasses that I'm currently using, washi tape, and I also have my milestones so I know in which month I hit what milestone. And for me this is really important because I can see in what month I accomplished that thing. And so when I'm flipping through my bullet journals one day, like in 5 years or 10 years, I can see that in June 2020 my channel hit 1 million views, and it's just good to remember. So I highly recommend having an accomplishments and memories page in your bullet journal. I really enjoy doing this page. And then we have the quote page for the whole year, and we start with January. I'm going to try to rate my themes and everything that I did for every month in like a 0 to 10 rating, so I kind of review with you guys the theme that I did. This theme is basically blue with a bunch of washi tapes. This was my first theme in this bullet journal, and I was experimenting with washi tapes because at this point I realized that I wasn't using a lot of washi tapes and I didn't like that. So I tried to use washi tapes and I did a theme basically based on that. It was too minimal for me. Now I don't do themes like this anymore, but I like the little boxes on the trackers, and I liked the self-care and gratitude page, even though I didn't use it a lot, which is normally the case for me. Daily pages are always really hard for me to use. Then I have my weekly spreads, which are all the same because at this point I wasn't doing different weekly spreads every month. And this is the end of January. For me, it's like a 4 out of 10 because I like this theme because it was minimal, but it was not interesting and I would not do this again. I just didn't like it. So it's kind of like a 5 out of 10. Then I did a master to-do list. I never do collections in the middle of my bullet journal, but I needed one, so I did it, and I didn't think twice, and it's not a problem, so I just did it. And if you need to do collections and lists in your bullet journal, just do it. I normally don't do, but I needed one, so I did it anyways. And then we start with February. This month was really interesting. February is always a month where I do pinks and like lovely themes, and this time I did basically the same, but I went for flowers in jars, which was really interesting because I never did jars in my life. And so I was really happy with this theme. It's not my favorite in terms of spreads because I think, I like the gray with the pink, but in terms of spreads I think it's also too minimal for me. But it was interesting to do a brain dump for the first time and to create all of the titles in different places and the doodle and stuff. It was really interesting. And I tried a Dutch door for like the 3rd time in 3 years. I'm not a Dutch door person, but every now and then I have to do one to just remind myself that I don't like Dutch doors. Dutch doors are not for me. I just don't like them. I don't know why, but I don't. So then I kind of quit doing the Dutch doors and I just did the weeks normally. And I'm going to rate this month as like a 6 out of 10 because it was really minimal. I like to play with the Tombow dual brush pen in pink and to like the theme, so it's like a 6 out of 10. Then we start with March, and it's the first month where I started doing the cover page on the left, and it's the best thing that I did in my bullet journal. I don't really want to have a quote page on the left because I realized that when you have a quote page and the cover page, you never look at your quote page, never. You don't have any reason to flip through your cover page or your quote page because you don't have anything to track in here. So I combined the two, and every day or every other day I had to look at my calendar, so I would look at the quote page and read it, and that is basically the main goal and the reason why you have a quote page. So I just kept it like this, and now I still do it like this, and it's really interesting and it works. I look at my quote page and I read it every day. So yeah, and I did my first purple lilac theme in my bullet journal in 3 years. I never did a purple theme, I don't know why, but I never did one, and so I decided to try different things and to try a purple theme, and I was really happy with it. It's also extremely minimal, but I did this headers and I kept the gray borders around the areas, and it was really interesting. I really like that, and I started doing it for all my themes because it's just more subtle than using black. So yeah, it was a really good change. And I did a huge brain dump for this month because I needed to organize everything. And speaking of brain dumps, I have a full video showing you how I set up my brain dump and how I migrate things from one brain dump to the next month's brain dump. So if you like to know how I use my brain dump page and what is it for and everything about it, I'm going to link the video down below. And I also have a blog post on Notebook Therapy about it, so if you want to know it, it's just in the description. This was the month that I started doing the weekly spreads on my channel, so the third week of every month is different because I just wanted to show you more layouts for weekly spreads, so I started to do that. And I also really like changing the weekly spread in the middle of the month. I don't know, it's just good to try different things and to do different things throughout the month, so I really enjoyed that. And I'm rating this theme as a 7 out of 10 because I really enjoyed the minimal colors and the minimal spreads, and I'm really happy about it. Then we have April, and April, if you were not here in April, this was the month where you on Instagram, my followers, controlled my bullet journal. So you controlled the theme, the pages that I did, the layouts, the colors, everything was controlled by you. And this is my favorite theme in this whole bullet journal because I realized that I don't like to have full control over my bullet journal. So if anyone is choosing the colors for my theme or the spreads, I am much more creative to create the spreads. So I really enjoyed having you on Instagram choosing the spreads that I was going to do, what I was going to use, the colors, how I was going to do everything. I really liked doing that, and this is the result. I really enjoyed playing with the different greens and washi tapes and the circle stickers and the watercolors. It was just a very creative theme. I don't know, but green themes for me are always very creative. So I really enjoyed everything that I did in this monthly setup. And it was also the first time of me doing this weekly spread. I actually really love this weekly spread. It's one of my top 3 favorites. It's a vertical week, so I obviously I'm going to like it, but it's just so interesting and it makes a page look bigger. I don't know how to explain it, but I really like this weekly spread. And I think I'm rating this theme as a probably 9 out of 10 because I had a lot of fun, but it was a really time consuming because I had to paint the leaves and to plan everything. It was just hard to plan, but I really enjoy it, so it is a 9 out of 10. Then we start with May. I really enjoyed creating this theme. It was the first time of me using watercolors like this because I never paint in my bullet journal. And so I did these blobs of orange and yellow, and you guys started calling potato chips, and now it's the only thing that I see. I just see potato chips, and these ones look like sweet potato, and this is just like normal potato, and I just think that I created a potato chips theme and I didn't even know it. And a lot of people started pointing that out, that it looked like potato chips, and now you can't unsee it. I really liked doing this calendar with the highlights for the weekend and completely changing my habit tracker, even though I'm not going to repeat this because it doesn't work, especially on uneven months. It doesn't really work, so yeah. But I had a lot of fun doing like the doodles around and playing with the washi tapes that I got. It was just really fun. and I'm rating this theme as an 8 out of 10 because I really like the colors and everything that I did, but I think the blobs of color could have been better, and the colors would have been better if I practice a lot more before I put it in my bullet journal. But I really enjoyed this theme, and so it's an 8 out of 10. I wouldn't change anything though, but at this point I wasn't really used to use watercolors, so they look a little off, but it's fine. And then we start with June, and this month was the first month that I used the 2-color challenge. So you basically have all of your colors in like different pieces of paper, and then you take 2 and you make a theme with those 2. And I think it was purple and pink, or lilac and pink, I don't remember. And I started searching, and it was this the result. I really enjoy doing all the clouds. It's really minimal but really colorful and pastel. I never did anything like this, so I was really happy. I tried this page, looking forward to do 20 things before I turn 21, because I'm turning I just turned 20 yesterday, if you're watching this on July 1st, and this is a list of 20 things that I want to do before I turn 21 next year. But it's really hard to come up with things, so I'm going to transfer this into a digital list in my computer, and continue to filling it in until I turn 21, basically. But it didn't work as a bullet journal spread. I love big calendars, and so this one was really fun, but I didn't use it a lot because my videos and work hours changed a lot, so I ended up not using this calendar a lot. I loved this habit tracker. It's the most pastel and fun habit tracker that I've ever done. And I just had a really great time painting all the clouds and doing everything. It's the most beautiful habit tracker that I've ever done. Everything was so dreamy. I was so obsessed with this theme. But it was really time consuming because of the clouds. But I think that everything that you do with watercolors is time consuming, so yeah. And I'm rating this theme as a 7 out of 10 because I liked it, but I still feel like something is missing. I don't know what it is, but something is missing. It's too pastel, it's too minimal, but I don't know, it spoke to me when I thought about it and when I did the habit tracker page, but for the weekly spreads, not so much. And so we reached the end of the bullet journal. I only have now my testing pages, which I used a lot. I used a lot of these pages, especially for my new bullet journal setup. I always use to try different headers and stuff, and then I still have a couple of white pages, but not enough for a theme. So this was the flip through of my first bullet journal of 2020. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget that next week I'm going to share my experience with this bullet journal, so if you liked everything about this video, please let me know in the comments and let me know what theme was your favorite, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!